Before anything else happens today, stop for a moment. Before the outside world hands you its list of demands, give yourself this single breath of stillness. What you're about to do isn't ordinary. It's a quiet threshold, the place where the person you were yesterday steps aside and makes room for whoever you're about to become. Nothing about you finding this moment was random. Something in you, some quiet inner intelligence, has been steering your attention long before now, and this morning, it's pointing you inward. Real transformation was never going to start out there, in circumstances or events. It starts in the silence of a decision nobody else can see you making. So as you sit with this, release the urge to push, to solve, to hunt down what you want. That isn't the work right now. The work is simpler and stranger than that. It's to settle into the feeling of already having what you're after, to let it become familiar rather than distant. Right now, in this unhurried moment, the door is open wider than usual, and somewhere just out of sight, something good is already making its way toward you, gathering momentum before you've even noticed it's begun. This is Neville Daily, and this is where your day actually starts. Here's something worth noticing. Every single morning, before the world starts making its case, before any circumstance gets the chance to tell its story, you already step into a particular state of being. Most of us do this without ever realizing it. We open our eyes and immediately inherit yesterday, its leftover irritation, its unfinished worry, its tired expectations, and we drag all of it straight into a day that hasn't done anything to deserve it. But truthfully, the day was never going to be shaped by outside events first. It gets shaped by whatever assumption you quietly agree to the moment you wake. Whatever feeling you allow to settle in first becomes the pattern the rest of the day follows. Wake into tension, delay, or struggle, and life will mirror that back with uncomfortable accuracy. Wake into ease, into quiet trust that things are working in your favor, and the same unshakable principle will answer that instead, just as precisely. Morning isn't only a slice of the clock, it's a doorway. And whatever you're carrying internally when you walk through it decides what greets you on the other side. An assumption isn't wishful thinking, and it's not hope dressed up in nicer language. It's a private agreement you make with yourself, a soft but firm decision that says, "This is simply how life goes for me." The instant that agreement is made, your mind quietly gets to work, selecting, interpreting, arranging the day's raw material until it lines up with what you decided. That's the real reason two people can walk through an identical day and come out the other side with completely different stories to tell. They were never occupying the same inner ground to begin with. Once you start choosing your morning assumption on purpose, you stop reacting to life and start quietly directing it instead. You're deciding in advance, not with strain, but with a kind of relaxed certainty, how the day is going to feel, how things will move, how situations will resolve themselves. None of this requires force. If anything, the looser and more relaxed the assumption, the more power it seems to carry. Life doesn't respond well to pressure, it responds to conviction. Think about how different a day feels when you carry the quiet inner knowledge that things are going to work out. Resistance thins out, conversations flow more easily, opportunities show up without you having to chase them down. Even the hard moments lose some of their sting because you're no longer meeting them from fear. You're meeting them from a place that already feels steady. Your mind will probably try to argue with this. It'll bring up the unfinished business, the old disappointments, the evidence from last week. But the point of choosing a morning assumption was never to litigate the past. It's to decide, right now, which state you're going to live inside of today. The past keeps its grip only as long as you assume it has to. The second you assume something different, that grip starts to loosen on its own. A truly powerful assumption doesn't fixate on specific outcomes. It settles into identity instead. Rather than thinking, "I hope today goes okay," you quietly accept, "I'm someone things tend to go well for." It sounds like a small shift, but it rearranges everything underneath it, because life has a habit of reflecting back exactly who you believe yourself to be. As the day unfolds, that identity starts confirming itself in small, unmistakable ways. An easier than expected moment, a solution that appears out of nowhere, a calm that wasn't there before. None of that is coincidence. It's simply an echo of the state you chose before the day had even properly begun. And if the outer world seems slow to catch up at first, stay loyal to what you assumed anyway, because what's unseen always moves before what's visible catches up to it. Once you grasp this, mornings stop being something you rush through on autopilot. They become deliberate. You start to realize you're not simply waking up into a day. In a strange way, the day is waking up into you. So choose carefully, choose gently, choose with confidence, because whatever assumption you accept in those first waking minutes doesn't just color the day, it essentially becomes the day. Most people spend their lives believing they need to attract better circumstances, better relationships, better opportunities. So they wait, they visualize, they hope, and then they wonder why nothing seems to move. But life was never built to respond to wanting. It responds to being. Everything you encounter outwardly isn't something you're pulling toward yourself. It's something you're constantly expressing outward, whether you mean to or not. The outer world behaves less like a target you're aiming at and more like a mirror reflecting back whatever state you habitually stand in. That's exactly why effort by itself rarely creates lasting change. You can work hard, force a positive thought, repeat affirmations with none of the feeling behind them, and still watch almost nothing shift. A mirror was never going to respond to what you say you want. It only ever responds to what you've quietly assumed yourself to be. Once you understand that you're reflecting rather than attracting, responsibility lands back where it belongs, not as blame, but as genuine power. You no longer have to chase results or talk the world into cooperating with you. You simply adjust the inner ground you're standing on, and the reflection shifts to match it, naturally and without strain. If delay or resistance keeps showing up, it isn't proof life is against you. It's proof the inner state being mirrored back is one of doubt or struggle, nothing more. And once you see it that way, the frustration tends to dissolve, because nothing was ever broken. Everything was simply doing exactly what it was designed to do. Action still matters, but it stops being a substitute for inner change and becomes an extension of it. When you carry certainty, your decisions carry certainty too. That's the freedom in all of this. You stop measuring your progress by appearances alone, and you start choosing, again and again, the state you'd rather see reflected back. Life can only confirm what you've already agreed to on the inside. The instant you decide first, something shifts. The nervous urge to check, worry, or micromanage starts to fade on its own. You stop scanning the horizon for reassurance and settle into a quiet knowing that doesn't need to be propped up by anything external. That state is calm, grounded, and oddly enough, it tends to draw things toward it. Your mind will probably push back on deciding without evidence in hand. It'll whisper things like, "Be realistic," or "Wait until you're sure." But certainty was never built from facts. It's built from assumption. Facts, if you look closely, are really just reflections of assumptions made a while ago. To bring something genuinely new into your life, you have to be willing to step past what's currently visible. That's exactly why deciding with real conviction can feel uncomfortable at first. You're momentarily out of step with appearances and instead falling into step with intention. That discomfort doesn't last, though. Once the decision settles, the body relaxes, the inner static quiets down, and life quietly starts rearranging itself around this new conclusion. Proof isn't in any hurry to show up, and honestly, it doesn't need to be. What's unseen is always the first thing to move. Conversations line up differently. Opportunities take shape. Timing shifts in your favor. Pieces begin fitting together in ways you couldn't have engineered through logic alone. And then, almost without fanfare, the proof arrives. Not as some strained-for miracle, but as the obvious, natural result of what you already decided. If you keep catching yourself hunting for signs, gently steer yourself back to the decision itself. Signs are only echoes. They were never the cause of anything. The real cause has always been the inner agreement you made in the first place. So reaffirm it quietly, without forcing anything, just with a calm and settled certainty. A genuine decision doesn't negotiate with doubt. It simply outgrows it. Doubt might still drift through your mind now and then, but it stops defining the state you're standing in. You're not suppressing the uncertainty, you're rooted in something that goes deeper than it. Living from this place changes your entire relationship with time. What used to feel like an agonizing delay stops carrying that weight because you've already accepted the ending. You're just watching it unfold. And this trust isn't some passive, wishful thing. It's an active alignment you're choosing moment to moment. Once you really understand that proof follows the decision rather than the other way around, you stop putting your peace on hold. You stop living inside suspense, stop trying to bargain with life for a better outcome. Instead, you settle inwardly, and life, true to form, mirrors that settlement back to you on the outside. Decide first. Let the rest of life catch up in its own time. Because once a decision has genuinely been made, the outcome stops being a question mark. It simply becomes a matter of when it shows itself. Most people treat gratitude like a reaction, something you feel after good things have already happened. But real gratitude is a far bigger force than that. It isn't a response to circumstances, it's a state you occupy on purpose. Gratitude, in its truest form, is the quiet sense that nothing is missing, that what you wanted has already landed, that the matter is settled somewhere deep inside you. Because life mirrors whatever state you hold, that feeling of completeness becomes the very thing that produces visible results. Feeling grateful before there's a shred of evidence isn't faking anything. It's choosing to occupy the emotional space of fulfillment instead of camping out in the waiting room. This is exactly why gratitude works as well as it does. It leaves no opening for doubt, strain, or struggle to sneak in. You genuinely cannot be grateful and be anxiously searching at the very same time. The moment gratitude becomes your default, the tension that usually surrounds wanting simply dissolves. There's no more urgency, no constant checking in, no pressure building underneath everything you do. You stop asking when it's going to happen, because gratitude quietly assumes it already has. That unspoken assumption communicates far more to life than any affirmation ever could. Gratitude moves your attention from scarcity to sufficiency, not by muscling your way there, but simply by recognizing what's already true. You start noticing harmony where you once noticed friction, flow where you once noticed delay, and as your attention shifts, so does your experience. Whatever you quietly acknowledge on the inside has a way of multiplying on the outside. This doesn't mean you have to feel giddy or forcefully upbeat. Genuine gratitude is usually much quieter than that. Steady, calm, almost like relief. It feels like finally settling into something secure, like exhaling after holding your breath far longer than you meant to. That's the feeling life seems to answer most consistently. When gratitude is genuinely present, you stop trying to micromanage how things unfold. You trust the process. You let timing work in your favor instead of fighting it. That kind of surrender isn't weakness, it's alignment. It's a signal that you're no longer standing in opposition to what you want. And if your mind brings up doubts or reminders of what still seems missing, gratitude doesn't argue with the thought. It simply, gently, returns you to the feeling that it's already done. Over time, that feeling stabilizes, and the world around you starts echoing it back, subtly at first, and then in ways that are impossible to miss. Gratitude also has a way of reshaping identity itself. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping things will change, and start living as someone already standing in completion. That shift shows up in how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you respond to things. People around you can feel it. Circumstances seem to respond to it. Life opens itself up to it. And none of this means ignoring real challenges when they show up. It simply means you choose to give your authority to the final outcome you've already accepted, rather than to whatever temporary appearance happens to be in front of you. Your inner world stays rooted in a sense of completion. The deeper your gratitude grows, the more manifestation stops feeling like work. You are no longer pushing to make something occur. You're simply allowing what you've already accepted inside to take shape outside. That's the real reason gratitude tends to move faster than effort ever could. It dissolves resistance at the source. When gratitude becomes your baseline, you stop chasing results and start noticing confirmations instead. Life meets you exactly where you stand, and where you stand is already whole. Gratitude isn't the prize waiting at the finish line, it's the entry point. Walk through it and everything else follows. Every real shift starts with a decision, but it's persistence that lets that decision take root and eventually become visible. So many people make the decision once, feel a spark of hope, and then let it go the moment the outside world doesn't instantly match it. But life doesn't answer to a passing mood. It answers to the state you keep coming back to. Persistence isn't about forcing belief or shoving doubt down. It's a quiet loyalty to the assumption you've chosen, even when the evidence around you seems to say otherwise. You're not battling reality. You're simply not letting a temporary reflection rewrite your inner position. That steadiness, calm, unshaken, is what actually creates results. The outside world always runs a little behind. What you see reflects assumptions you held before, not the ones you're holding now. That gap isn't a problem to solve. It's the bridge connecting your inner shift to its outer proof. Once you understand that, delay stops looking like failure. Instead, it becomes a sign that something has already changed and is simply making its way to the surface. When you stay persistent in your assumption, the conversation happening inside you starts to change. You stop reacting emotionally to every little sign or every absence of one. You stay grounded, and that grounding builds alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you expect. And that alignment carries real power. Doubt will still show up sometimes, but persistence means you don't let it settle in. You notice it, acknowledge it, and gently come back to the assumption you've chosen. Little by little, that assumption stops feeling like an active choice and starts feeling like simply who you are. That's the turning point where manifestation stops being a hope and becomes something inevitable. Life can't keep contradicting a steady inner state forever. The mirror has to catch up. People start acting differently. Circumstances shift. Opportunities show up. And often when they do, they feel almost ordinary, not dramatic, just naturally in step with where you already are. Persist also shields you from burning out emotionally. Instead of riding a roller coaster of highs and lows, you stay centered. You stop tracking your progress hour by hour or day by day. You trust the process because you actually understand the principle driving it. So many people let go of their assumption right at the tipping point, right before it was about to solidify into reality. They look too soon, they check too often, and in doing that, they slide right back into uncertainty. Persistence means you stop checking and start simply knowing. That knowing isn't loud or desperate for proof. It's quiet, steady, and patient. And patience, in this sense, isn't waiting around. It's confidence that the outcome is already on its way. As your persistence deepens, effort naturally fades. You're no longer repeating anything just to convince yourself. You simply return to that feeling of completion whenever your mind wanders. That return is all it takes. Eventually, the assumption becomes your natural default way of being. And once that happens, the world outside genuinely has no way to keep resisting it. What was once only imagined becomes something you actually live. What was once just assumed becomes something you actually see. Persistence is the quiet engine behind every real transformation. Not intensity, not struggle, but a steady loyalty to the inner truth you've decided to hold on to. Stay faithful to it, stay calm, and let life unfold what you've already settled within yourself. Take a moment now and just be still. Notice that nothing else needs to be added. Nothing needs to be proven. You've already stepped into a new inner position, and that decision alone has already set things in motion that you can't yet see. From this place, life responds without force. Doors open without a fight. Answers arrive without you having to hunt for them. What once felt stuck now moves with ease. Carry this feeling with you as your day unfolds. Let it shape your thoughts, your tone, and what you expect from the day ahead, not with tension, but with quiet certainty. You don't need to watch the clock. You don't need to look for signs. The assumption has already been made, and life has already received it. Today is aligned, today is supported, and what you've quietly accepted within yourself is now on its way to becoming visible around you. It is done. Thank you for giving yourself this moment of stillness. Thank you for choosing awareness over worry, and thank you for starting your day from a place of real inner strength. If any part of this spoke to you, hold on to it. Come back to it anytime you need to recenter. And remember, the state you hold within is always shaping the world you experience around you. Wishing you a genuinely beautiful day from Neville Daily.